Now we will consider differential pulse code modulation or differential PCM or DPCM. We have already studied PCM. In PCM, what we do, if we have a signal like this, we used to take the samples of that signal like this, and we quantize this sample, and we transmit it with the help of PCM signal with each sample in number of bits. So we have to transmit n number of bits for each sample. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 samples, then we have 7 into n number of bits to be transmitted in PCM system. In differential PCM, what is done, instead of sending all the samples, say we have two successive samples, they are close enough. So this one is, say, mk minus 1, and this one is mk. Suppose we have transmitted this mk minus 1. Next we have to transmit mk. In differential PCM, what we do, instead of transmitting this mk, we take the difference d between these two signals. That means d equal to the current sample minus the previous sample. So somehow we have transmitted this previous sample, then instead of transmitting the second sample, the next sample, we will transmit the difference between the earlier one and the later one. Now if the samples are correlated, then it is expected that this this difference is much smaller compared to the absolute value of this m. That means magnitude of this d is much smaller compared to the magnitude of k. So if n number of bits are required to transmit each sample, then, and d is very small, so what we can do, we will get the benefit in this way, is instead of using n number of bits, we can use less number of bits. So instead of transmitting the next sample with n number of bits, we will transmit the difference between these two samples with less number of bits. Or if we transmit this d with n number of bits, in that case, since d is much smaller than the absolute value of actual sample, then it is expected that the signal to noise ratio will be improved enormously. So signal to noise ratio will be improved if we use same number of bits. And if we don't want to use n number of bits, we can reduce the number of bits, since this d is very smaller compared to the absolute values of the samples. Now what the receiver will do, receiver has already got mk minus 1. So receiver has the information of the previous sample. Now we have receiver have received the current sample, and addition of these two will give you the, instead of receiving the current sample, receiver has received the difference between them. So adding this difference with the previously available sample it can generate the current sample. So this is the technique, and in this technique is called the differential technique, because it takes the difference, it transmits the actually transmits the difference between two successive samples. Now this scheme may be further improved in this way. Instead of taking the difference between the successive samples, what we do, we will estimate the current sample. We will estimate the current sample. So this is the current sample, and this is the estimation of the current sample, written as, say, m cap. So we have original sample mk, and we estimate the original sample using some logic, and it is m cap k. We now take the difference between these two. That means the difference between the original sample with difference between original sample and its estimated value, m cap k. So what benefit we will get? If the estimation is good enough, then it is expected that this difference is even smaller compared to this difference, this one. So this is another variation of the original scheme. The receiver will receive this m cap k, and in the receiver it will generate m cap k. Receiver will generate m cap k, it will estimate m cap k, it will receive this dk from transmitter, and manipulating with the help of d and this m cap, it will regenerate this mk. That means we are not going to transmit the original samples at all. We are actually transmitting the difference between the actual sample and its estimated value. So this is appeared to be much better. The only thing is that our estimation is good enough. So now we have to see that whether this estimation is possible mathematically or not, and after that we have to see whether it is physically implementable or not. That means ultimately we have to make the circuit. So if it is not physically feasible, then everything will be wrong. So first we will consider whether this estimation is possible or not theoretically, and then we will try to make the circuit so that this m cap k becomes feasible, and once it is feasible, then the system will work. So now let us see the signal prediction. And for that we will use the Taylor series. So if m is the signal, then according to Taylor series we can write this is an infinite series. So mt plus ts equal to mt plus ts m dot t plus t square by factorial 2 m double dot t plus, and so on. So approximately, neglecting the higher order terms, we can write mt plus ts is nearly equal to mt, taking only first two terms, plus ts m dot t. Here ts is the sampling time, and it is much smaller compared to this t. That means we have to take the samples at very fast rate. Now changing this notation from this continuous domain to discrete domain in this way, that the kth sample can be written as mk. So mk plus kts plus minus ts, that can be written as m k plus minus 1 and so on. So m dot kts can approximately be written as m kts minus m kts minus ts divided by ts. So using these notations, we can write the Taylor series, approximate value of the Taylor series, as mk plus ts into mk minus 1 divided by ts, that is equal to 2 mk minus mk minus 1. So this shows that we can find a prediction of mk plus 1, that means the next sample, with the help of the current sample and the previous one. That means if we have the history of two previous samples, we can estimate the next sample. Now this equation may be improved obviously if we add more number of terms. That means we have terminated this series up to this point. If you use the other terms, then other terms will appear here also, and obviously the estimation will be better. So instead of mk plus 1, if we want to write it in terms of the current sample as kth sample, so mk can be written as approximately, say, a1 mk minus 1 plus a2 mk minus 2 and so on, an mk minus n. So if we have the same expression, instead of writing k plus 1th message, we are writing it in terms of current message, kth message. So k plus 1 actually replaced by k. So here k plus 1 becomes k, so k becomes k minus 1 and so on. And we have arbitrarily added, or rather multiplied, some scaling factors, a1, a2, a3, etc. And if you can adjust these coefficients properly, scaling factors properly, we can get this mk. Now since this left hand side is the estimated value, so instead of writing it as mk, we will write it as m cap k. So m cap k can be written as a1 mk minus 1 plus a2 mk minus 2 plus so on, an mk minus n. So you can see that mathematically it is possible to generate the estimated value of current sample with the n number of previous samples. the history of n number of previous samples. Now we can make the hardware with the help of that particular expression that we have derived. So mk, the previous sample, will be obtained by a delay network. So we have number of such delay networks. So if it is mk, then it will be mk minus 1, this one is mk minus 2, and so on. Now we will have some coefficient scaling factors. All of them are added, and the output is m cap k. So this is the required hardware. This is also called the transversal filter or tapped line filter, or also called the linear predictor. So theoretically it is possible to generate estimation, and also from the theoretical idea we have derived the hardware. We can derive the hardware of that particular network so that we can get the estimated value of the current sample. Now the analysis of DPCM. Here we transmit not the present sample mk, we are not going to transmit it, but we are actually transmitting this d, which is equal to mk minus m cap k. This was the objective, and this is what we have to do. Now at the receiver we generate m cap k from the past sample values, to which the received d, this one, is added to generate this current sample mk at the receiver. So everything is fine, but at the receiver, instead of past samples, means mk minus 1, mk minus 2, these are the past samples, as well as this d, we have their quantized version. That means instead of mk minus 1 at the receiver, we have quantized version of mk minus 1, quantized version of mk minus 2, etc. That means from this quantized version we cannot generate mk, because we cannot generate m cap k. We can only determine the estimate of the quantized samples. That means mq k cap, estimate of the quantized sample from this mq k minus 1, mq k minus 2, etc. And this will increase the error in the reconstruction process at the receiver. Hence, it is better to determine the estimate of estimate of MQK, that means M cap QK, because estimate means cap, at the transmitter from the quantized sample MQK minus 1, MQK minus 2, etc. That means we are actually generate this MQK cap at the transmitter from the quantized samples, like this one. Then the difference D equal to MK minus MQ cap K is now transmitted using PCM system. At the receiver, we can generate MQ cap K and we receive D, and from these two we can reconstruct the original MQK. So this is what is done actually. The system becomes a little bit complicated, but it will work. So let us see what should be the hardware for this particular system. This is the message. We have a quantizer. Quantizer will produce the quantized version of this D, and that will be transmitted. Now in a feedback loop, we have predictor. The predictor output must be MQ cap K, and that must be subtracted from this MK to produce this DK. So this should be the transmitter circuit. So the output of the predictor is MQ cap K. Subtracting from MK, we are getting D, that is quantized to produce DQ, and that DQ is now added with MQ cap K and given to the predictor to produce this value. That means the system will work if and only if the input to predictor is MQK. We have to show it that input to the predictor is MQK. If input to the predictor is MQK, then the system will work. We will show it later on. Now this section is actually the demodulator part. So at the demodulator, we have a predictor, this is the demodulator part. So input to the predictor, if it is MQK, then everything will work. So let us see how it works. Here is D mk minus mq cap k, say this one. Now this one is quantized, so dqk equal to dk plus qk, where this qk is the quantization noise or error, quantization error. That means whenever we quantize the sample, it will contain some quantization error. So the predicted input is, here we have predicted input mq cap k plus dqk, that is equal to mk minus dk plus dqk, that is equal to mk plus qk. So message plus quantization error, that is equal to mqk. So the predicted input is mqk. So the predicted input is mqk. So at the output of the receiver we will get mqk, and the circuit will work. The quantized signal dqk is now transmitted over the channel. Let us summarize this thing. The receiver, which is same as this one, will receive this dqk. The predicted output is mq cap, this one, predicted output is mq cap k. So the receiver output means this is the receiver output. So predicted input is the receiver output, so receiver output must be mqk, and this shows that we are able to receive the desired signal mk plus the quantization noise qk. This is the actually quantization noise associated with the difference signal d, this one, which is generally much smaller than mk. The received samples are decoded and passed through a low pass filter for DA conversion. Now we will see the SNR improvement. In SNR improvement in DPCM. And we have already determined the expression for SNR in connection with PCM, and we have seen that it is dependent on the step size delta V, because quantization noise power NQ is delta V square by 12, and this quantization noise is actually reduced by factor MP by dP for in case of DPCM. Where this MP and DP are the peak amplitude of M and D. So since NQ is reduced by this factor, then it is expected that SNR should be improved by same factor. SNR should be improved by the same factor. Now, since MP is much greater than DP, so improvement is very high, because factor is MP by DP. So MP is greater than DP, much greater than DP. So obviously this factor is very high. So SNR improvement is very high for this DPCM system. Application: it may be used in high resolution TV, high resolution television system, it can be used.